What is up, YouTube? Welcome back to my channel. Thanks for tuning in. Today we're going to talk about the AL Central and the best cards to invest in for the upcoming roster updates, which are going to start on April 30th and then be every other week for the rest of the season. Based on how a player is performing, his card will go up or down. We only focus on the upgrades here as far as investing, but cards can go down as well. And what we're really looking for is guys who can change levels, going from bronze to silver, silver to gold, gold to diamond, common to bronze, whatever. And even bronze to silver is not like a money maker as far as boosting your stubs count. But if you get a bunch of bronzes and you invest in them and they go to silver, you can use them for exchanges. Those exchange points go up, and that's another way of like you're essentially saving stubs at that point because you're not having to go in and buy a bunch of different cards to fulfill those exchanges. So there is still value in that, but the money makers to really boost your stubs count is getting the silvers to gold, the golds to diamonds. So let's just dive in with the White Sox. The AL East went a little long, y'all. I mean, it was like 12 minutes per team when you break it down, which doesn't seem so crazy, but you know, it's an hour video. It's asking for a big commitment. So I'm a little bit more put together here for the Central and then the West and then the entire National League. I have notes. I was free-forming it a little bit, which I like to do and kind of, you know, off the cuff, but keeping it a little bit more streamlined here will certainly help. Let's just start at the top. You look at Tim Anderson here. And when I made these notes originally, he was a good bit over 4K. So I had mentioned that he's destined for diamond, but that the market was already pretty keen on it. He's hit a price drop. And I mean, you can see there on the buy now in the upper right is 3,900, but the sell now is 3,200, meaning you can put in buy orders in that 3,200 to 3,300 range, and that still leaves a little meat on the bone to invest. Remember, the quick sell price for diamond is 4,000. So is 5,000. So when you buy him, when you buy these Tim Andersons, you're going to quick sell however much you sold for. You buy them at the 3,300. You buy a bunch of them. You quick sell them at 5,000. You're clearing about 1,700 per, minus taxes and everything. So there's still some investment possibility, but people understand that he's likely to go very soon. I think it could actually be in this first update here. He's off to a good start and he's playing remarkably well. And that offense does leave plenty to be gained. The defense does too, but I don't think we're really going to necessarily see that. Lance Lynn just recently got hurt. That IL stint is not expected to be a huge deal. So I think he should get to 84 on April 30th. And then I've got him destined for diamond. So I'm investing at that point. He's even cheaper than Tim Anderson because I don't think people are as hot on him, plus the injury. Injuries do not deter an update if you're going to get it. If you've already put up the performance, going on the IL does not take away that update. They will count for the stats that they've done, and then we'll pick it back up when they return. This is not expected to be a big deal for Lance Lynn. It's created a buying opportunity, and I think we really need to get in the market. You're probably asking, well, then why don't you have any? Because the market's been remarkably slow today, and I just haven't been able to get in all the orders I want, and it's a little frustrating. But I also want to get these videos situated and finished to go online for you guys as well. So I can get to my stuff later, but trust me, I need some Lance Lynn shares. Luis Robert. Now, he's a long way from diamond, right? He's 5 points away as an 80, but he's off to a great start. And frankly, it's a low risk investment for a remarkably talented player, right? He's only 1,000 essentially. I'm looking at the sell now. I see 1010. Even 1,100 is a low risk investment because if it doesn't happen, now the only big risk would be that if he left the gold level, then you'd be in trouble. But you would know that ahead of time, right? Because if he's playing like terribly for a period, and we see that he is a downgrade risk, sell off and just get out. Like it's that easy. So that's not even really that big of a risk unless you just forget and get hit by it on a random update. So this is so low risk because you're basically paying base price for him, and you can just hang on and see where Robert goes. It's going to take a while, don't get me wrong. I'm talking June, unless he just is astronomically high. Plays like Acuna's been playing for like a month and a half or something like that. Otherwise, it's going to be a slow, steady build. They'll go to like 82 and then to 84 and then have to get to 85. So, that takes time, but it's one of those ones you can set and forget. So I like Lou Bob there. Adam Eaton, I think, is kind of a sneaky one. He's showing some early pop, and he's only 3 points away from gold. I've got him as a sneaky hold for gold here if that power continues. And he's priced to buy. You see, I've already got a few shares there. I've only got 3 again. I didn't want to be in the market all day. I would have never gotten my Fangraphs work done. I wouldn't have gotten the pod done. I wouldn't have gotten these videos done. Nothing would have been done if I'd have been in the market all day getting all the shares of the players I wanted to. But I did start on some of my Adam Eaton orders. I'm not going to go crazy with the investment on him. I'll probably just have another good handful, maybe I don't know, 7 to 10 more shares there because they're just not that high of risk. I'll just kind of keep an eye out, see where he's at. He'll probably get an upgrade on the 30th, but I think it'll be to 78, 79. It's not going to go 77 to 80 in my opinion just yet, but he's a hold for gold. Next up, Carlos Rodon. Here's the thing, y'all. Even before the no-hitter, he was looking great so far. And I really do think that he has that two-level growth potential, meaning he could go all the way to gold here. And I think he's somebody that, if he continues to miss bats like this, we could be seeing him as one of the big breakouts of the year. Now, risk factor for him is always health, and it's just been there forever. It stinks because he's a brilliantly talented arm. I just want to see him get a full season. I'm willing to take the risk that this is it, though, because the price is not that high, and because he's a 2-level guy for me, he's I try to make a 2-level pick, somebody who's going to jump 2 tiers, so from bronze to gold, silver to diamond, things like that. I'm not really doing common to silver, because again, you can't really profit off that. We're trying to hit big, so these are long-term investments, and getting somebody like Carlos Rodon at this point, holding him to see if he can get to gold, that'd be a massive payout. Please just stay healthy. Next up is Cody Hoyer. This is one that he's not performing that well, but he already needs a K9 boost. He's giving up way too many hits. So he needs to shave that hit 9 down to get to silver. But keep an eye on him. He was amazing last year. It's early. A couple bad outings have amplified his numbers. If he strings together... Yeah, I mean, relievers, here's the thing. We see this how often? All the time, really. Reliever has just a brutal 1 outing or 2 outings in April. They have to spend the next 2 months shaving that down for their composite numbers to look good. But if you are staying attuned to their game logs and how they're doing on like a weekly or bi-weekly or 14-day rolling period, then you can see how they're improving. So I think Hoyer could be a guy like that. So I just want to put him on the radar because I think as a 70, he does have some silver potential. Another long shot one right now is obviously Andrew Vaughn. He's a 68. He's dirt cheap. If you just want to stow a few away, just put it away. You know, it's like a bond that you don't pay attention to. You're just trying to put that investment away. You'll check on it down the line. La Russa's not playing him. I mean, he's not hitting when he is playing. There are risks as far as him not getting there. It's not even like a risk. It's happening right now, but there's a low probability of him actually getting to gold, and maybe even silver right now the way he's playing. But the price is so low that you take the shot, and so I would be open to doing that, just putting a little bit away and seeing what's what with Andrew Vaughn. Because here's the thing, when he goes, if he hits that first big streak, his price will skyrocket because he's a hot prospect. People will be ready to jump. So get in now on the ground floor, and if nothing comes of it, you exchange them or sell them back or whatever. It's just a no harm investment. And then of course the man of the year so far. Oh, an unhandled server exception. Yermin Mercedes. I guess I'm not gonna be able to get in. He's obviously going to get a big boost off rip, but he's too expensive to truly invest unless you see gold. But he's a long way from that. So, I mean, you see the price here. It's because everyone knows he's going to get a boost, but he's only going to go to silver at most. He's only going to go to silver, and I don't even think that's a 9-point upgrade. I don't think we're getting that off rip. We have a special visitor here who's been crawling up my leg for the last 2 minutes. So if you've noticed me distracted at all, it's because I was fending off an attacker. But yeah, don't get crazy with Mercedes because it's just too high right now for a bronze. If he was at silver and cost this price and you were hoping for gold, sure, I could see something like that. Even though that's still pretty high for somebody who's broken out kind of out of nowhere. So I had to mention him or else I'd get questions. but it's not really investable right now. I don't even have my initial one for the set because I'm gonna wait till April 30th happens, see what happens with his price after he goes and gets his upgrade, and if he falls short of silver, I think everyone's gonna sell him, and I'll get him cheap to help complete my set. Michael Kopech's our last one. He's been nasty as heck so far, but he's 10 points away from silver. That's so far. And the major growth is only going to come if he keeps the walk rate way down. It's at 3.4 right now per 9, which is actually an improvement for him. But I'm talking he needs to be like sub 3 if he's going to chase down silver or even gold, as I've heard some people talk, because they love the arm talent. Like, that's the thing. It can happen quickly for somebody like this. If he develops and really does find a way to limit walks to a solid degree. You know, I said sub 3. I would even take something at like the 3.0 mark. That would be all right for what he's able to do, especially if he's getting tons of strikeouts, limiting hits. It can happen quickly. We also don't know what his role is going to be, right? He's relieving. He's like in a hybrid role right now, so he could be starting one week, relieving for a couple weeks, getting a couple spot starts. So again, this is a ground floor one. He's cheap enough that if you want to get in, it's not too crazy, but I wouldn't be putting, you know, 50, 60 Michael Kopechs aside. I don't know that that's the best use of your stubs right now. I'd probably do something a bit smaller than that. All right, that's it for the White Sox. Let's move on to Cleveland. Let's see how we did. Oh, even with the notes, we didn't really shave off time. It was 11 minutes instead of 12 minutes per team. Let's get into Cleveland, although we'll pick up the pace with my Tigers because we don't have a lot of investment opportunities. James Karinchak, he already needs a strikeout boost. I know he's at 105, but yes, he already needs a strikeout boost. But I think looking at him, I just don't know that he can close the gap on the 5 points to get to diamond without massive walk rate improvements. In fact, this sounds exactly like what I just said about Kopech. They're right next to each other in the notes. I'm surprised I didn't just copy and paste, to be honest, because that's what it's going to take. I mean, the hit 9 is already 99. The strikeout's 105. Yeah, it can go up. But even that, if you max it at 125, that wouldn't get him to diamond. The only way he gets to diamond is if he stops walking guys at an appreciable rate. So I'm talking like a 3.0 or better for like 6 weeks to 2 months of time. So it's a base price investment. He's only $1,000 right now if you put in the actual orders. But it's a long shot, folks. Relievers in general are a long shot, but somebody with a glaring issue like this is a particular long shot too. All right, next up is my boy Aaron Civale. Big fan of his. We haven't seen the K9 jump just yet, so he's at 56. The stuff is there, though. He really does have the arsenal to miss more bats. We've seen it in flashes. We haven't seen it consistently yet. He does have a 4.4 hits 9 right now, which is very spicy. That's going to generate an upgrade. And he's only three points away. He's definitely in that hashtag hold for gold for me, but he's also my 2-level guy. I could see diamond here. I could see him being, you know, following in that Bieber footstep. I don't think he's quite Bieber, but he's a little bit of a Bieber light, like a Kluber light type of deal. He's better than Zach Plesac. I'm not saying that just because Plesac's been rough and Civale hasn't. I had that on my fantasy lists before the season started. I think Civale is the one who should be getting the attention, not Plesac. And Civale has a chance this year, if he has the full-on breakout, to get to diamond. But as right now, hold for gold. And if you want to sell, if and when he gets gold, I totally get it. Me, I'm going to have probably 10 put off to the side of him and just hold those for the year and just see where Civale goes. Roberto Perez, look, the power's good so far. He's got 3 homers, but it needs to be so good to overcome the fact that he has those brutal contact ratings and he deserves them. So he's close and he's got that elite defense. I wonder why his arm fell to 66. Did he have trouble throwing guys out here? Sorry, I did not put that in my notes because I didn't notice it until just now. It's only 68. Did he have a struggle there? Because I've always known him. I mean, we know he's an elite defender. That's calling in game, receiving, but also throwing guys out, I thought too. And let's see here. Okay, where's his defense? Okay, I'm confused, y'all. He led the American League in 2019 with a 41% caught stealing rate. He led baseball with a 71% rate last year. And he's leading baseball so far this year with a 50% rate. Now, I can't get in and see what the accuracy is, but maybe they're saying the arm strength is light, but the accuracy is very good because the accuracy is not showing on this wheel here. I don't know. That is peculiar to me, but that also gives another avenue for growth. And I already had him as a fringe hold for gold. I'm going to elevate him into a strong hold for gold because I'm going to change this on my notes if you guys will bear with me, because that arm needs to be boosted. How is it a 68? So tack on a little power, a little arm, and even if he continues to hit terribly for contact, I think he can still get there. Roberto Perez, hold for gold. All right, Franmil Reyes. Oh boy. Are we doing this again? I mean, I probably predicted him to get an upgrade like 5 different times last year and talked about how it could be gold, but it's probably going to be a 78 or a 79 because he was always just like one piece shy, right? It's like, and I'm just making examples. I don't remember the exact trajectory, but it's like, say his power against lefties was a little light. It's like, he had 4 homers against lefties. Great, he did his job there. Yeah, but his contact versus righties was already really high, and he's hitting 200 against them in the last 2 weeks, so they'd lower that. And it was always this push-pull that never quite got us there. Now we're 5 points away. It has to come via batting average against righties, power against lefties. If we're not getting that, I just don't see gold. So let's monitor him, because he is a monstrously good player. He's a fan favorite in the game. Definitely get that 88. It's very good. I got Nico first. I'm going to get Franmil second as far as the affinities. So he's not in my inventory, but I don't want to be called out to be like recommending somebody I don't have. Yes, I don't have him, but I will. Don't worry. But yeah, I just don't think the gold is there. So very small investment if you want to do it, because he's very cheap. But take your normal investment, make it a quarter of that. You normally invest 100 in somebody, just get 25 of him. Don't go crazy on Franmil unless we see some big batting average surge. As you can see here, Andres Gimenez, probably the highest guy. I was able to get a bunch of orders in for him yesterday, so he's the one I've got a bunch of. I would not say that he's like my best hold for gold. This just happened to be one of the guys that actually had my orders go through. But he's hitting for nice power off rip. He should get silver right away. So that's part of the reason, too, that I'm invested is like, at the very least, I've got a guy who's going to go to silver. But hold for gold is not out of bounds if the pop continues. And he's cheap enough to jump in. And that's why I did, because I do see some gold potential because of a diverse skill set. He's got the contact, the power, the speed. It's all kind of there. If he gets his stolen base rate up, then he can get that stealing boosted as well. So there's a lot of different avenues for him. That's why I felt that Gimenez was a nice little investment, and I've already got 13 stowed away of him. Luplow is an easy silver on April 30th because he's just killing righties right now, and he has so much room to grow there with a 31.42. But I'm not sure I can see gold unless this new power against righties sticks. So if you invest right now and he goes to silver and you want to sell those off or exchange them or whatever, I guess those were the only 2 options, sell, exchange. I totally get it. If you want to stick around and just see for a little bit, is it just a power surge against righties, or is there some changes? Then I get that too. I think I'm probably going to take the long-term outlook here. I'm probably going to get another 7 to 10 of Luplow and just hold them and see where it's at. I don't feel super confident that he can hit righties all of a sudden, but the payoff is huge if he does, so I might as well, because I do think he gets silver right away, and at worst, I'll just have a silver card. So I'm going to stick around for a little bit with him. Emmanuel Clase, I'm pretty sure y'all have priced him up. Yeah. So I got notes here. Could be silver bound soon, but the market has priced him up, so unless you see hold for gold, I'd pass here, whereas he's like a 68. And, wait. Whoa. The market has tumbled. So I wrote these notes yesterday. In one day, the market has completely bottomed out. I can't get in to see the trajectory. I put what it was in my notes. He was 602/245. He's down to 222/170. That changes the dynamic here quite a bit. And the 3 that I have all came from packs. So I do think he's got an opportunity to get to silver very quickly. So I'm holding for that. But now at this price, I think you can jump in and hold for gold. I absolutely think you can. And I will do exactly that with Emmanuel Clase. I mean, I won't do it right now because the servers will not let me. Oh, maybe they will. Okay, now he's back to 443. What is going on with this market here? You guys saw it. It said 2 something. Okay. Bottom line, just pay attention to what you're paying for him. Okay? It's that simple. I might get a couple here at 170. No, I won't. Never mind. But just if it spikes back up to where it was, don't do it. Here, anything under 200, which forget it, I'm not going to do it. I'm getting a few, but I'm not going bananas with Class A because the market seems to be trending pretty high with him. All right, that's going to do it for Cleveland. Let's move on to my beloved Tigers. I think I always refer to them as that. I don't know why. I don't know where I started that, why they're my beloved Tigers. Like, why am I 100 years old with the way I talk? Jesus. Just call me, I don't know. I was going to say call me whatever, and I was going to make up an old person's name, but I could only think of old lady names like Agatha or Bertha. Maybe it's just names with THs. I don't know. Anyway, Tigers. We've only got 5 guys that I'm realistically thinking we should be investing. Let's start with my boy Wilson Ramos. And I do say my boy, not just because he's a Tiger, but I was hot on him for fantasy this year, and he is off to a tremendous start. And I think that's going to help him get a big boost right away, up to like a 78, 79. So he's going to be knocking on the door for gold right quick. He has been known to have good contact in the past. You see it's still 85 against lefties. He can hit for batting average against righties too. The downside though, and this happens when you get older and you're already a slow dude, is that you can smack the piss out of the ball, and sometimes your speed prevents you from getting hits. They can take singles away, like to short right field. They throw you out at first. It turns turns doubles into singles. We've seen Albert Pujols do this as he's still hit. Someone's trying to get down. I'm going to let Shar out of here. We've seen this for Pujols, even as he's still hitting the ball hard, getting thrown out before he can even get a single, turning these great shots into the gap into a single because he can't get 2. That's kind of happening to Ramos a little bit. So that could keep the batting average a little tamped down. But I do still see some actual hold for gold potential here with Ramos because the power has been great so far and he's shown contact upside in the future. So definitely get some Ramos. Plus, he's priced to buy. Jeimer Candelario is also priced pretty nicely. Now, he's 5 points away. Here's the thing. No chance he's getting a gold unless he improves against righties, okay? And he's killing lefties again to start this season. Let me see where he's at against righties because I think it's not great. And unless we see some improvement there, he just doesn't have the path. I mean, you look at how uneven he is with a 62-57 against righties and an 86-62 against lefties. And so far this year, I mean, he has a 259 average and 733 OPS against righties. That's not bad, but it's not good. And he's hitting 308 against lefties, but only a 665 OPS because he doesn't have any power. So he's not going to get upgraded yet this week. He's been fine so far. He hasn't hit that big push. He hasn't had his first hot streak of the year. So he's somebody to keep an eye on. You can get in now on the ground floor, make it cheap, but I would not go hog wild with Candelario because I'm not sure that the improvements versus righties are going to be there. So until we start to see them, I would not invest heavily. Matthew Boyd boys stand up. He's going to get some early hit 9 and BB 9 gains for sure. However, his strikeout rate has dropped a bit in concert with that. Now I do wonder. I just noticed this actually. Why does he have a 59 homer or 59 K9 right now when he had a strikeout per inning last year, 11.6 the year before, and 8.4 the year before that? That's better than a 59. I wonder, did they update his card based on the fact that he only had 2 strikeouts in his first game? They would not do that. That'd be too reactionary. I guess his first 3 starts were in the books by the time the game released, and he had a 6.5 K9. I wonder if they preemptively dropped that already. I don't know. At any rate, I think he can get silver on April 30th. And there is some hold for gold upside here with Boyd if the strikeout rate jumps back. In fact, he's going to be my 2-level guy for the Tigers because of that. We've seen the strikeouts in the past. The hits and walks have been great thus far, and he's keeping the ball in the yard. Now, the homer per 9 as a rating in MLB The Show on Diamond Dynasty does not matter. It does not play into anything. They tried it one year. It turned out to be too OP, and they took it out. That said, it's important to note that Matthew Boyd is keeping the ball in the yard because that is facilitating his quality performance. So while a Homer 9 upgrade on his card isn't necessarily going to move the needle for us, because I don't think it impacts the card as much, if at all. In fact, I think if they moved his hit 9 in Diamond Dynasty to like an 80, I don't think it would have that. I've heard both that it has zero impact and that it has a muted impact. I think it has a muted impact. Whereas if in offline, if you moved somebody from 54 to 80, that might get him like 2 points of overall. In DD, it might not even move him to 74, from what I understand. I need to get confirmation on that, so I will hold myself to that, and I'll report back whenever I hear back, whether it's on a YouTube video or on Twitch. I need to figure out exactly what homer per 9 gains do for investment purposes, because I'm not sure that they have much of an impact. But Boyd is keeping the ball in the yard. That's going to help him do better, stay in the game longer, get those strikeouts up, etc., etc. Speaking of pitchers getting back on track for the Tigers, Michael Fulmer has looked solid so far. What rating is he? He's all the way down at a 65. So he's way down here, but he's looked pretty sharp thus far, and I'm loving it. He probably maxes at a silver, and it'll take a while to get that. And as such, he's probably too expensive to invest. But again, sometimes I address these ones just to tell you not to invest because I know I'll get a question about him. And I think our Tigers friends out there would be like, hey, what about Fulmer? He's been killing it. He has, and I'm loving it, but I just don't think that there's any real meat on the bone to invest in him because I'm just not sure we see gold this year. If that changes, we'll adjust and try to jump in, but as it stands right now, he's a little too expensive. Casey Mize, I should mention too. I did not have him in my notes, but I know there'll be questions about him. He falls into a similar category like Fulmer, though. He's pitching well, but he's 5 points away from silver, and he's already a little pricey. So I'm just not sure I'm going to get there with him. Plus, while his performance has been nice, he doesn't have the MLB The Show skills that really drive a card up. Like his strikeout rate is not particularly sharp. His walk rate is good, not great, and same goes with his hit rate. In fact, let me pull those numbers up real quick. Yeah, in fact, his hit rate hasn't even been good this year. It's flat out mediocre at a hit per inning. A 9.0 hits per 9 is not very good. 7.3 strikeouts, 2.3 walks. So the BB9 can get a little upgrade right now. That would be fine. Get that into the mid 60s. But that's it. So I love that Mize had that great start in Houston. We're seeing, if you watch him, if you are a Tigers fan or just like prospects, you can see the improvements coming from last year. Like he is pitching better. He's having great at-bats in key spots, little improvements like that. But I don't think he's ready to make a big fantasy impact, which means both in fantasy baseball as you think of it traditionally, Roto and DraftKings, but also in MLB The Show, because we're kind of playing a fantasy baseball game here too, where we're buying these cards to try to increase our stubs count. I don't think it's there for Mize right now. And then the last Tiger, of course, I'm going to talk about Akil Baddoo. Now, obviously, he's way too high for a common. So it really comes down to how much you believe in him. This is very much like your me and Mercedes, and they just happen to be two of the biggest out-of-nowhere breakouts thus far. I think he goes low 70s on April 30th, somewhere in the 72 to 74 range. I don't think they get him all the way to silver just yet because he has that Topps Now silver that they have, and they can say, hey, you can use this if you want a better Baddoo right now, but we're going to make him prove it a little longer, which I'm totally fine with. It's very early. He is not, he's not an established player yet. So they're going to move him to a high bronze, and then we kind of go from there. And you could be a silver by mid-May if he continues to rake. Question is, do you believe? If you believe that he can actually get to gold, then this is still a fair price to invest in. If you really think he maxes out as like a 75 to 78 type of silver, this might still have some upside in pricing to use him as an exchange guy, because a 77 card for 175 stubs is pretty good, because that's a pretty good number of points for those exchanges. But it's not going to make you rich. So be careful investing here. You don't want this to go sideways on you and you're left holding 150 Badus. And I know one of you out there has 150 Badus already. Stop it. No more Badus. All right, KC time. Oh, I went to flashbacks because I am a dope. I pressed it. I pressed it. I pressed it. First on the Royals is Whit Merrifield. Talk about something that we repeat a lot. I feel like we've done this dance for a bit. He went diamond at some point last year, though, didn't he? I think he went diamond and then lost it, because he's always on that cusp. He lives in like the 83 to 86 range, and he's a damn fine player. I feel like he's destined for diamond based on the hot start thus far. So I think he's going to get there right away. And as such, there is meat on the bone. He's about a 3,000 stub card right now if you put in 29.15. But I'm just saying, if a bunch of you see this and go do it, his price is going to go up. He'll probably be somewhere in the 3,100 to 3,400 range. That's enough, you know. Honestly, if I really believe somebody's like, he's going diamond and they're 4,000 and under, I'll still take the shot, because you're still getting a G. Again, you got to factor in taxes too, but like you're still getting enough to make it worth it if they're that locked in. I'm looking now. I'm seeing, yeah, I think he's got a good chance to get there on April 30th. I think he should at least go to 84 based on the power surge against lefties. I'm looking at it now, though. I think he's been a little light against righties, so he might not get it week one. I'm still going to tag him as a destined for diamond, but it's a little bit more of a toss-up for week one. I'm still going to get a couple more shares myself, but I think he's actually going to go 84. If I have to pin a number on it for April 30th, I'm going to say 84, but I'm still holding on to Whit Merrifield as a future diamond. He's an absolute stud. Salvador Perez, when I made the notes yesterday, he was at an 85 with inside edge thanks to plus 15s against righties. And he's dominating righties so far this year with a 1256 OPS against them. He's destined for diamond. I think he can get there. Dang it. And I want to say again, right? He also made it last year. Sorry, Char's trying to get back up again. And instead of having that little dweeb crawl up my leg, I'm just going to let her up. But yeah, I think he and, unless I'm crazy, which I am, but unless I'm completely mistaken, I think he and Merrifield got to diamond last year. In fact, I'm going to check it. I'm going to look it up while we're maneuvering forward here. I want to talk about Carlos Santana, because I definitely think that, yeah, Merrifield absolutely ended the season there. But yeah, Carlos Santana is our next one to talk about. He's a 79. The problem is, you guys are already there. Look at that. Now, that sell now has gone down a little bit. Again, I made these notes, and in the course of one day, things changed quite a bit, and I'm kind of shook by it. But there's a little bit of meat there. If you're buying at 700, that's 300 stubs though. He is pretty set for gold in week one though. I really do think that he's going to get there. So if you want 300 stubs, it's a pretty close to guaranteed 300 stubs. But I think if a bunch of you get there, he's going to be priced at 800 before you know it. I don't think Sal Perez got there last year based on what I'm seeing, but I'm having a hard time identifying it because Daddy Leagues is messing up on me. At any rate, it doesn't matter that much. I do think that Sal Perez is a long-term hold for Diamond because he just continues to rake, and I think his improvement in the power categories plus a little sprinkle of contact is going to eventually get him there. Not on April 30th. I'm not saying he's getting 4 points next week. Don't mistake me. It's a long-term hold. Next up is Brady Singer. You can see I've already got a little handful of him. He's my 2-level guy for KC. I really believe his strikeout per 9 is soaring right now, and it already needs a boost. So I think that's going to get him to silver off rip. From there, it'll take some time for sure, but he is a long-term hold for gold. So Brady Singer is my 2-level guy for the Kansas City Royals, because I can't really get Carlos Santana to diamond, or even Soler, Dozier. Mondesi's not playing, or else he would have been kind of the obvious one, but he hasn't even started yet. So I'm not gonna say go out and get a whole bunch of him when we don't even know his status right now. Next up is Danny Duffy. He's a 72. There he is. And he's off to a great start. And I think he's going to get silver on April 30th. So do with that what you will. Can he get to gold? I mean, sure. Yeah, that's not really saying anything. Will he? I don't think so. I would bet against it. We've seen a lot of good runs from him in the past, and he usually kind of has volatility that kind of gets him back to his level as like a low to mid fours ERA guy. Perfectly capable. Whoops, what did I hit? Perfectly capable type of guy there. Oh, wow. I backed all the way out there. Oh, no, I hope it doesn't prevent me from getting back in. But I would not go crazy with Danny Duffy. I think he'll get to silver. Our last Royal is a reliever, and I should be there in time, Scott Barlow. Now, he is another 2-level candidate because he has huge strikeout per 9 and a solid BB9. And both of those need some love already. So he can already kind of lay the groundwork for maybe getting to gold. However, to get all the way there, he'll definitely need to improve that hit 9. The BB9 could, he's, like I said, he needs a little juice right now, and then he probably would need a little bit more juice to get to gold. But I think if he gets the BB9 to the 60s in this update, then the hits and Ks alone could, if he continues to dominate, could get him to gold. But he needs to start stifling some hits. I do like Scott Barlow, though, as a long-term hold for gold. You can see he's just double-digit price right now. So just set it and forget it for a while. All right, moving on to Minnesota. All right, so Kenta Maeda. If you invested in him in fantasy, you're probably pretty bummed. It's been a little rough. He won't be destined for diamond right away. That's for darn sure. In fact, he's probably going to get a dip. So I think his hit 9 could take a hit, move him down to like an 83, 82. That's going to drop the price though. And when that price drops, I'm going to swoop back in and I'm going to invest for the long-term destined for diamond because the core skills are still there for Maeda, and I'm not particularly concerned about this slow start. He's a stud, right? So unless there's an injury, which we haven't heard anything about a potential injury, I think it's just a blip that he's going to get back on track from. So wait to invest. Do not invest yet. Wait for April 30th. Hopefully he gets a little dip. I don't want him to go too crazy, right? Don't put him at an 81, but I'd like to see him go to 83, shave off 8 points off the hit 9, get everybody off the scent. Oh God, Maeda's downgraded. He's struggling. Then we swoop in. Next up, okay. I feel like he's destined for diamond on April 30th. The market agrees. He's already priced too high. I feel like he's destined for diamond on April 30th as well, or at least damn near. I mentioned this with Franmil Reyes about, we're going to do this again. Nelson Cruz is even bigger. We're going to do this again. Because another DH that is such a good hitter that we feel like, man, he should be a diamond somehow. But there's just like one factor missing in the hitting profile that keeps him from there, and the defense ends up holding him back. Now, Cruz actually has a little extra factor in that he has a 90 arm. He has the huge arm. So that gives him an advantage over some of these other guys that have like no defensive attributes. But he's killing both righties and lefties. His contact versus both sides needs a boost, pardon me. His power versus righty can use a boost. He has 5 home runs against them already, an 876 slug. I just think this is finally the time. And he is buyable. Unlike Buxton, who the market has already priced out, you can get in here and get some juice on Cruz. Now, if you were with me last year on this, I'm sorry we didn't get it, right? And you guys can always see my my inventory, so you know that I'm not like telling you to invest in something and then not doing the same thing myself. You saw how long I had, double digits worth of Cruz. I wish I could get some right now. But I kept holding my shares, or the price would spike and I'd sell a few off to not take too big of a hit, but it just never came to fruition for us. I think we actually finally get it. I think we get it early. I think he's a very strong diamond candidate for April 30th. Next up is Taylor Rogers. Now, the skills are on point so far. This is funny too, because I have this mental conundrum with him wherein, I respect what he does in real life. He's a very good pitcher in real life, but I am the worst with him in the game. And I was going to try to show you my stats, but it looks like nothing's working. So I'm going to stop hitting triangle or X on anything and just scroll through the teams so I don't ruin my ability to actually be in here, especially, I guess we're on Minnesota, so that'll be a video stop there to wrap up the AL Central, and then I'll see what's happening with the AL West. But yeah, he's 5 points away from Diamond. So I'm just not sure he gets there without a massive strikeout surge, because he's already got an 83 K9, but he would need to strike out double digits per 9 consistently, like for months. So into June type of deal. He has 10.6 right now. That's great. 9 strikeouts and 7 2/3. I think he maybe even needs to be a little bit higher than that, or at least hold this rate for a good bit longer, 25 or so innings, to where they can merit a big upgrade there. He would also obviously need the rest of his stuff to do well, too. But I think the real push has to come from the strikeouts and probably the hits. By the way, the 77 BB9, that's going to get an upgrade right away on April 30th, unless he flops from here till then and has like a 4-walk game. But he only has 1 walk and 7 2/3. I think he's always been a good walk suppressor. He's under 2 walks since 2019. So he had 1.4 in 19, 1.8 last year, 1.2 this year. That needs to be in the 80s already. So that'll get a boost. The K's might get a little boost, get him to like an 82, 83. The price is a little high, actually, now that I'm seeing it. He went the other way. I talked about how some of these guys have gone down. When I wrote Rogers up yesterday, he wasn't this expensive. So because I don't think he has a great shot at Diamond, and now that the price is up, I'm actually going to peel back and say, if you get some in packs, you can hold them, but I would not go out and invest in Taylor Rogers, because I don't know that he has the means to get there. And if it does, I think we're talking June or July. So do with that what you will. All right, Jose Barrios. With a good start between now and roster lock. He has one more start, I think, just one. He should be headed for gold. He's off to a fantastic start this year. And I think he's going to get... Why do I keep doing it? It's just instinct. I'm sorry. We've seen Barrios, though, get off to great starts. He hits a bump, gets back, hits a bump, gets back. Like, he has these peaks and valleys that are consistently inconsistent. And I think it's the in and out of that breaking ball. When it's cooking, he's unbeatable. When it's off, I can go 3 for 4 against him, it seems like. But his strikeouts are through the roof right now. His hit rate's great. He's going to get gold on April 3rd. I almost said diamond there. He's going to get gold. But he is my 2-level guy here for Minnesota. If the strikeout rate is legit, Jose Barrios is destined for diamond. Next up is Michael Pineda, coming in at 74, so he's just 1 point away from silver. As long as he doesn't implode, he's got silver next time, because he can get strikeout and hit rate boosts. He's a long shot hold for gold, but you know Michael Pineda's volatility. So don't get in with your eyes closed and be like, well, Paul said he's a hold for gold. I said he's a hold for gold candidate with high volatility. Will I get a handful of him? Probably, yeah, because he does have the skills to get there. And when he's cooking, he's striking out guys, he's not walking anybody, and he's not allowing too many hits. Home runs are his biggest issue. If he keeps the ball in the yard, it's kind of like Matthew Boyd, what I was saying earlier. While we don't care so much about their homer per 9 for the game, we care about them suppressing the homers because it fuels everything else that they can do well. So Pineda's an easy silver. He's a long-term hold for gold, and he's dirt cheap. So if you want a bargain basement hold for gold potential, that's one of them for you. Next up is Luis Arraez, and he is also somebody who's on the cusp of silver, but a long shot hold for gold. Even longer than Pineda. And Pineda's issue is health, not talent. Arraez's issue isn't talent or isn't health, it's power, which is part of his talent profile. He doesn't have enough power, and I don't think he has enough to get to gold. You think of somebody like a David Fletcher who gets there, and for some reason I thought shifting the teams would be quick, and here we are. He gets there because his defense is so exemplary that he can have just the excellent contact rates, the weak power rates, and still get there with 96 fielding and 99 reaction. Arise doesn't have that good of defense, so it's harder for him to get there on hitting alone. And I just don't, without a power surge, I just don't see how it's going to happen. Plus, another avenue that he could get would be his contact against lefties. He has a 67 right now, and he's hitting 105 to start the season against them. Now, that's a tiny sample, but the fact of it is they don't even play him against lefties very often. So he's a silver. I think he could even get silver off rip here on April 30th, but not much more than that. So don't go too crazy. And that's kind of it for them. They had a few other guys that we're going to keep an eye on, just kind of on my offline notes, and I'll let you know if anything happens with them. But other than that, that's going to wrap up the Central. Let's see how we did. Okay, we shaved off 15 minutes. Hopefully that's a little bit more concise and better for y'all. I still have the West and, of course, all of the NL coming up. Appreciate y'all watching. I'll be live on Twitch. If you're watching this when it comes out on Thursday, I'll be live on Twitch that night, but also all weekend, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. It's double XP weekend starting tomorrow on Friday. So we'll be going ham on that, playing the game, investing, popping some packs, hopefully getting Miguel Cabrera in the event. But thank you so much for watching. Take care.